Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be doing our blown insulation in our attic. Because this was a garage, there's only about 6 to 8 inches of blown insulation up there. We're going to add probably another 8 to 10 inches. So as you can see behind me here, we have a pile of cellulose and we have a blower. So essentially, if you hired somebody to do this, we're using cellulose, which is ground up newspaper with a fire retardant in it. The other one they use frequently is a shredded fiberglass. Because we already have this in the attic, we're going to add to this. One bag, if I remember right, does about 25 square feet at 8 inches thick. There's a chart on here that you can read to tell you what it'll do. And the blower is from the lumberyard, our local lumberyard. So for a very small fee, they'll let you have the blower for a day if you buy the insulation. It's pretty straightforward. You drop the bag, pieces of the bag in there, you kind of push them down into the agitator. It goes through a hose and up into your attic with you. So Sue's going to be running the blower down here. We'll get some video of that. And I'm going to be taking the GoPro with me and going up in the attic to put this in place. It is a little dusty in the attic depending on how you do it. As long as the feeder is always got, insulation in it, it's not too bad. So we'll probably open the door down here as Sue gets going and we'll go up in the attic. The other thing we do that I find works really well is, you'll see in a minute, I'll get bundled up and Sue will take a video of me. I like to tie a t-shirt over my face with just my eyes showing, and then I get all bundled up, and that way I'm fairly protected from it. So this is a fairly simple project. We'll recap when we're done, but yeah, let's get going. All right, so we've got our hose, we've got our face bundled up, and we've got our flashlight. We're gonna head into the attic here and get going. So we'll bring you back when we get in there and get blowing some insulation. Yeah, we're back. We're probably about 20 feet across now, and you see, it's going pretty good. Probably a little hard for you guys to see. It's pretty dark up here, and I just got the one flashlight. Of course, it's dusty, but we'll get a little bit of this done. Move around this wire. You guys can probably see down in there once the dust settles. Looking pretty good. Alright, so basically I told Sue to come get me at 10 bags and see where we're at. And as you can see, we've got a space, probably 7 feet by 10 feet left. So we probably need about 3 more bags. So she's going to put 2 bags in the hopper and then come up and see where we're at. So we should get started here momentarily. Okay. I think it's probably going to take maybe 4. I don't know.
Okay, you want me to put 2 more in and then shut it down?
Probably check with me each one.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Okay. Do you want me to do 1 more and then come back?
Yeah. Alright, so basically I told Sue to come get me at 10 bags and see where we're at. And as you can see, we've got a space, probably 7 feet by 10 feet left. So we probably need about 3 more bags. So she's going to put 2 bags in the hopper and then come up and see where we're at. So we should get started here momentarily. But you'll see there's a nice, probably about 18 inches now. Yep. There's about 18 inches all the way across. And down here in your proper vent, you'll notice you see a little bit of daylight if I move the light away. And if that was much bigger than that, we'd want to stuff it full of fiberglass. But the blown cellulose will actually span a 5 or 6 inch gap if you're careful, because you don't want to fill your soffit full of cellulose. Okay. I think it's probably going to take maybe 4. I don't know.
Okay, you want me to put 2 more in and then shut it down?
Probably check with me each one.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Okay. Do you want me to do 1 more and then come back?
Yeah. All right, so we've got this insulated, this half of the attic. This half is 10 by 30, and the other part is 30 by 30, and that's what we're going to be doing next. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the access here covered back up. We're going to clean up our mess because the rest can be done from the garage. I don't know if we can get you set up here where you can watch us put this back together or not. Basically what we've done, we made a sandwich of 2-inch foam and OSB, and if you get it just right, it does fit out through there, I promise. And I put a screw in it so I can hold it from this side, and basically plug the hole up like that. And my theory here is that the insulation, the styrofoam board, will seal against the wall real nice and act as my vapor barrier. And then we have our fiberglass that we'll plug in the hole. Start on top of that. And then we have our access panel. You certainly could make something more dressed up, if you will. In our case, this is behind the printer up in our spare room, so we think this looks pretty good. All right, we're going to clean up our mess, put the printer back, and we'll go to the other half of the attic. So as we get ready to do this insulation, we have to work on this access hole. You'll see it's only got the one 2x4 there and no edges around it. So we're going to go ahead and build a box around there so the insulation doesn't keep falling out of the hole like that every time we open the hatch. We've gone ahead and pre-built a box in 2 pieces so we can get it up in there. So we're going to climb up here and do our best to show you. It's a fairly tight spot. It's about 4 feet right there. Alright, so we're up in the attic. This is the area we're talking about. This is the roof truss. Yeah. This is the roof truss right here. I'm just going to build this box. So we're going to see if we can't find you a place to kind of watch us. Get you set up like that right there. You can stare at me while I do this. Yeah, that gives us a nice strong box and allows us to get our insulation up. And what we'll do here is we're going to bring our insulation up, you know, a couple inches above this box. And then we have this sheet of 4-inch, well, it's 2 layers of 2-inch, but 4-inch 4x4 foam that we just slide over this hole. And that way it sets on the blown insulation, kind of makes a seal. And, you know, the cold air doesn't leak down in or the hot air doesn't leak up out. You could try to fit a piece of styrofoam down inside the hole. I just find it's really hard to make it fit nice and tight. So this seems to work. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to get the blower set up and start insulating some attic space. So we'll bring you along, show you some clips of how the blower actually works, show some clips of us actually putting insulation in, and then at the end we'll come back and do a recap and give you a lot of pointers and whatnot that we feel are helpful.
Okay.
So we've gone ahead and got cleaned up, as you saw when I come down out of the attic. You do get a little messy when you do this job. All in all, it took us about 3 hours. It cost us about $500 for insulation. We used, I think, about 40 bags of insulation. And, you know, we've got that insulation in the attic. It's not a real hard job. You know, if it's something you need to do yourself, don't be intimidated by it. Go to your local lumberyard, talk to them about your options. The biggest things I can tell you is, you know, just be careful where you step when you're in an attic. You know, there's trusses or ceiling joists or something to walk on. Typical construction has sheetrock underneath that in the dwelling, and if you step on the sheetrock, it's not going to hold your weight, so you need to walk on the trusses themselves. That's one of the big ones. Wear a face mask, you know, maybe some goggles if you got them, a hat, bundle up, tuck your shirt in, that kind of thing. Other than that, you know, have some kind of communications with your ground crew. The blower we had a really long remote that I could have taken with me, but you know, it's you've got enough going on up there as it is in the attic. What we did is Sue would call out the bags left as we got near the end, or we had an agreement like, after you put 5 bags through the machine, come see me, see where we're at, so you know roughly what you're doing. Either that or buy more than you think you need and take back what you don't use. That's another option as well. But it's pretty straightforward. We use cellulose, as pointed out earlier. It's a ground up newspaper or fire retardant. There is a blown in fiberglass. You can do spray foam. There's a lot of different options. We just chose to do the cellulose because we already had that up there. Other than that, I can't think of too much else to tell you as far as, you know, what to look for, what to be careful of. It's, you know, it's a pretty straightforward process, as you saw us do. So anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.